Joey, these are two legit Power 5 recruiting wins. Easton Baker, 3-star prospect out of Utah, formerly committed to BYU, opens it up, and Illinois gets him on an official visit before Oklahoma. This is their second recruiting win over Oklahoma. Sorry, Sooners fans. It is. Lane Jenkins was committed to you. Now he's committed to Illinois. And now you get Easton Baker. So huge recruiting win there. And I think it tells you about Illinois' defensive sell compared to Oklahoma, which was 99th in the country in scoring defense last year. Illinois number 1 in scoring defense. Andy Boo did a fantastic job. Andy saw the film, saw what we saw, and goes, "Oh my goodness, we gotta offer this kid." 2 days later, he's in Utah. Illinois does not often recruit Utah. We are efforting the last Illinois football player from Utah, so we will figure that out. But let's start there, Joey. Easton Baker. I think he's under recruited in the rankings right now. We got him as 84 rating. That puts him at 1,186 in the national rankings overall, 107th among linebackers. You just turn on the film, and this is a guy that I think could be Jake Hansen, like separates the ball from the ball carrier, but he might be faster than that. So what do you think, Joey, of this kid?
You said that ranking. It looked like Easterling's drink went down wrong. His facial expression, I don't think he agreed with that. It's a big one. Like, you guys are much better with film than I am. And I turned it on, and the first play, literally, it's just the first play. He blows someone like, oh, this guy has got something. So to get him, like when they moved the official visit up, and they went for that big first weekend, the weekend that we've seen them try to make those splashes, and notably to get him on campus before he got to Oklahoma, that should have been a sign that they never want. I mean, obviously you want to close down recruitments where you can, but they didn't want him to get to Oklahoma. I mean, for as much as their defense was 99th last year, it's still Oklahoma, right? And there's still a team going to the S. Like, you don't want to risk that for a guy that you like and a guy that you jumped on an airplane and got to Utah in 2 days. So their ability to close that down quickly, like this was a really accelerated recruitment, Jeremy. Like Andy saw him playing campus, and it all moved very, very quickly. So I think that tells you something. And we wondered, what's it going to look like? This play's awesome. We wondered, like, what's it going to look like when Illinois has this number 1 defense pitch, and how do they do it? And they do it by closing in on 2 guys hours after they left campus. Like that tells you something that you won this battle, especially for Baker. I know we'll get to John more.
Yeah,
you won this battle over those schools that you did. You did it quickly and efficiently.
Yeah, 6'1", 212 pounds, Easton Baker. And Ryan, I do think a kid out of Utah, he said he told me a couple weeks ago when he got the offer, he watches Big Ten football. He loves Big Ten football. He plays like he does, but he seems like he's got some of the speed that we might see down south. But what do you think this guy, where do you think he eventually fits? Is he a Mike linebacker? He's a weak side linebacker? Does it matter? Because he looks like a heck of a football player.
I just want to start out by saying I don't think he separates the ball from the ball carrier. I think he separates the ball carrier from the ball. I think he's probably best suited for the will side, just based on size. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think he can eventually bulk up and play a little stronger. But, I mean, his explosiveness and his speed just gets him into the backfield. It gets him into the flat so fast that he's able to cover that kind of ground and play the boundary a little better. So, I mean, man, I see a lot of similarities to his film and James Kreutz's film. I think he's got a little more explosiveness. He's a little faster, but they both just attack the ball the same way. And, like, if there's a way to get both those guys on the field at the same time, I mean, that's a great duo linebacker moving forward. And then, I mean, I don't want to rule out anybody else because obviously, like, JoJo Hayden, great player, and they've got some other great linebackers on the roster. But those two guys, the style of play that they have, I just think is so tenacious. And that's just the word that I kept coming back to when I was looking at the film. It's just their tenacity and their motor is just undeniable. And I love how they play. I love how they attack the ball. And I feel like this guy plays with a chip on his shoulder all the time. And I really like that. And I think that's really what attracted this staff to Easton Baker at the end of the day.
Yeah, and he goes through people. Like, it's different when you're told to tackle through people, but to actually do it, it takes a fearlessness, and he certainly got that on top of his athleticism and all those other physical traits.